Right guys, sorry for the delay. I was supposed to start a while ago already, but the Zibo group has kept me so busy this morning and all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. So my X-Plane is starting up and it's going to take a couple of minutes more. So you might want to just grab a cup of coffee while we're all waiting. I didn't even get a chance to do that for myself, so I'll be with you shortly. Hey, good morning, Kappa. Here's a link for you. This is the utility. It was written by Sergio, very nice guy. Spoke to him a couple of times in real world. Very knowledgeable on helicopters, and he runs the site called helisimmers.com and also the Facebook page and everything related to helicopters. So he wrote this little utility, and basically what you do is you install it. You then take a couple of screenshots or photos, dump them into a folder, and the utility will then change your background for you. And it's nice, it's random, it changes every time that you start to explain. So I like it very much. Again, guys, sorry, I apologize for being late today, but things beyond my control and obligations towards the whole Zibo team and everything kept me quite busy this morning. I woke up with a bang, eh? Now, let's see if my screen capture utility works. Come on, capture explain. So I got a Microsoft update the day before yesterday. And the funny thing is, that evening I still streamed and OBS worked. But since then, it started to complain. There must have been another update. So I'm going to have to use the workaround to get the screen going that you guys can see it. But it's actually kind of annoying. It's supposed to run as the administrator and it's supposed to work fine. It has for a long time. Let me type that for you. Let me actually show that to you. Let me show you where that thing goes. So this is my explain folder, and what I did was I created that folder over there. So it's just inside of explain 11. So I've typed it there for you as well. In explain folder, this is where I extracted the utility. And then in my images, I've got all my different images that take a turn to actually display on my background. That is my collection over there. Alright, so the screen is going to go black from time to time, and this is going to happen. It's going to look funny. It's going to look like it's freezing sometimes. And that happens because I'm jumping between screens. I've got 4 screens on my system, so unfortunately, because it's not capturing explain itself, and I'll try fix that anyway, you might see a couple of black screens. Alright, let's make sure it's off, and we can start our new flight. I hate when things like this happen. Yeah, John, it's a nice utility. I'm really trying hard to get this thing to see my explain, but it's refusing. Point blank. Right, so nothing we can do about that. I see we've got some rain in Zurich, and we're going to fly out of that rain and out of the weather, so we're going to use some anti-icing today, and we're going to do things a little bit differently. The reason I want to fly this flight today is because of the LNAV issues that people have been complaining about in the release candidate, and I want to show you a couple of things. Alright, let's just try capture the screen one more time. Nope. Right, so we're going to have to live with the black screens from time to time. For this flight, I'll try and obviously contact Streamlabs OBS and see if there's an update or what happened, how they can fix it for us. So without further ado, you all know the Zibo. I just want to show you that I am on a release candidate 1.5. If you don't understand what that means, it basically is a beta, a more of a beta than the normal beta, because the Zibo, in actual fact, every day is just a beta. It's a work in progress, but this is more of a beta. So unless you really have the stomach to handle the betas, I would suggest just keep to the stable version, which was 3.33H, until most of the issues have been resolved. I updated, good morning Liam, I updated my ground handling deluxe 2 days ago. There was an update, so it does look kind of wonky. I'm busy fiddling with it to get the alignment correct again and to put things back in place. But at this point in time, there is interference on the GPU side. It's going to kick us off shortly, and then we just have to reconnect. So why don't we just remain disconnected for the time being. So I'm busy reprogramming it anyway to release it later on for everybody's use. So how have you guys been keeping? Did you guys have a good week? Did you enjoy whatever it was that you were doing? Okay. I just realized I have removed the GPU. Right. The flickering that you guys see also is now related to the way that everything is captured. Sorry about that. So when things start jumping around and all these things, it's just temporary. Hey, good morning, welcome welcome to the stream, guys. Alright, so all that is said, let's get our lighting done. Thank you for the good wishes. I am sure I'm going to have a good flight. There's a couple of things I want to show you guys, especially on the runway 28 departure here. And it's related to the guys complaining to the LNAV being a bit wonky in the betas. I think the whole idea behind the RC being mentioned and that this is a beta of a beta should actually give the guys some heads up, but a lot of guys are stubborn or they just don't understand, so I hope to sort out a couple of things here. Right, sorry, that's me clicking in and out again.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust. Climb. Climb now. Climb. Climb now. Climb. Crossing. Climb. Climb. Crossing. Climb. 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 Clear of conflict. Descend. 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 Crossing. Descend. Descend. Crossing. Descend. Descend. Descend now. Descend. Descend now. Increase climb. Increase climb. Increase descent. Increase descent. Maintain vertical speed. Maintain. Maintain vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain. Monitor vertical speed. TCAS test. Pass.
Glide slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Okay, good morning, Phil. Good morning, Mr. Sayin, and everybody else there that I haven't said good morning to. I've been talking behind the scenes here, trying to argue the facts with myself. So now I'm live on stream and I'm going to quickly talk you guys through what I've been showing here behind the scenes. I'm going to start back here again because I'm pretty sure you did not hear what I was explaining. So this is the only instance that I found during the past week of all the testing where we had such a massive 90-degree turn. And obviously the Zibo cannot fly it, and that's probably one of the reasons why the guys are complaining. Right, so if I'm repeating something I already said, I apologize, but I'm not sure when my mic was on or off. The Zibo is going to either turn too soon or too late, and it's going to skip Zulu Hotel 556 and Zulu Hotel 557. It's kind of common sense. If you're flying 250 knots, that turning circle is too great. So it's going to skip them. It's going to deduct them from our legs page, and it's probably going to rejoin the magenta line and that waypoint at Affoldt. So this is what I'm working on the FMC, and if we go back there, alright, that's zoomed out a little bit better. Let's quickly step back. Not right. Next page. Right, let's zoom back in. Let's see where we're at. Wrong place. That's where we want to be. Okay. So you can see that if we look at the chart, we've got the squiggle and we've got the almost 90-degree turn. And if we look at the way the Zibo draws it, we've got exactly the same thing. Now in the real aircraft, we'll probably find that there's a little bit of a curve that is drawn somewhere over there. Alright, the Zibo doesn't draw the curves yet. That's something for the future. And what we need to do is we're either going to have to slow down, or we're going to have to accept the way that the FMC flies it, or we're going to have to hand fly it, or use vectors on the autopilot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down a little bit. We'll get to the actual settings once all the parameters have been put into the FMC. I'll slow down a little bit and I'll just leave it. I'm not going to complain and chew through my wrist here with my blunt teeth just because the thing didn't hit a specific point. But for some people it seems to be a bit of a problem. I know Zibo worked on the code yet again, and you know he's obviously improving it. So we're just going to show you guys what it looks like at this point in time when you hit a little 90-degree turn, or almost 90 degrees like that. Oh yes, one more thing that I showed the guys behind the scenes which you didn't see is during the week I got a couple of issues with people reporting that the Zibo turns around during the flight and it flies, you know, not following the magenta line. And that was actually quite funny because when we looked at the route and we loaded that into the system, we actually discovered that there was a double up in one of the waypoints. Garza, in actual fact, Garza and Sasson, they were both duplicated. So what happened was the aircraft flew Garza, then Sasson, then turned around, went back to Garza, and then went on its merry way again. And that's very easy to miss. So guys, this is a tip from my side. Always make sure, run through your legs page. Make sure you don't have double ups. Double up is just going to confuse you and the aircraft because it only does what you tell it to do, and if you told it to fly a double, it's going to do it. And that's not a bug, that's on you, it's on us, the users. We need to just make sure that there is no double up. Alright, and then lastly, if we look at the final star point, and we zoom out a little bit and then step again. you'll see that we need to fly vectors there. That was on the previous page of the reference. Let's go back there. There's vectors. It tells us we need to fly vectors from that point. Now, if you don't have an ATC that's going to give you vectors, you've got one of two options. You can take out the vectors, or you can just vector yourself through heading select. If you vector yourself, you need to be very careful. This is the other trick in this whole flight plan, is that angle is more than 90 degrees. There is absolutely no way the Zibo or any other aircraft that you bring to the table is going to fly an angle like that. Nobody flies like that. It's impossible for the autopilot to compute that. So the idea would be to go into like a downwind situation and just vector yourself, or turn around if you fly by hand, and then go onto the final approach and actually use your ILS if that is available, and in this route it actually is. So a couple of tricks. We've got one 90-degree angle and one more than 90-degree angle, and we battled the idea of having a double up in our legs page. I think this is the bare minimum that anybody should do, is to check the route and to make sure that you understand that the aircraft is not going to fly 90 degrees, and you have to do what you have to do to counter that. Alright, so we'll return to that discussion just now. Let's quickly continue with our setup here. Guys, another thing that I've picked up in the community is that the guys use unrealistic cost indexes. There are various resources available online that tells you which airline carrier uses what index. Ryanair uses 6, BA uses anything from 0 to 100, depending on the flight. Us here in South Africa, we use 20 on the Boeing. So please make sure that you don't go too high on this. The higher this number is, the faster the aircraft's going to fly, and that's going to increase your turning circle as well, and that's going to kick you off the magenta line. And again, that's not Zibo code, that is on you. You're not supposed to use 100 in a cost index. It's unrealistic. It doesn't work that way, and the Zibo is getting more and more realistic on a daily basis. So please make sure that you use a valid and a realistic cost index there, and like I say, resources available all over the show. We're going to do 290 on the flight level there. We've got 318 at 44 on our winds. And we've got a -3 on our ice out deviation. Alright, 7,000 on transition, execute. Alright, our calculations tells us that we need to use a takeoff, not derated, and we need to use 38 because we need some power to get out of here. Some mountains in the area and a couple of other issues with weather. We're going to leave all that. Then takeoff page, flaps 5. Next page. Let's get the weather. I'm really annoyed with this blacking of the screens. Phil Wood, there's a very simple reason for it. I wish I could actually show you. There's a very simple reason. You get two ways of capturing the screen. You either do a screen as such capture, where you say, I want screen number 2, capture that one, and then it will do what you see it's doing now. It's highly annoying. The other way of capturing the stream is to capture the executable. So in other words, I tell the OBS software, capture explain.exe. Now, up until yesterday and for many months, it worked perfectly. There was a Windows update that has literally killed and is now preventing me from capturing the stream. I am totally unable to capture the stream for some reason, and I have to either wait for an update from Streamlabs OBS to fix that, or I need to go and sit and figure it out if there is a workaround. But with all the responsibilities I had this morning and speaking to all the Zibo guys and everything, I ran late, so I haven't been able to actually go investigate if there is a workaround. But if I go to the explain capture there, you'll see there's just a black screen. There's nothing. The Streamlabs OBS simply isn't capturing anything. So that's why you get the screen tearing and the shaking and the black screens and all these things. I will most probably not save this video because of this hassle. You know, so you guys that are here are gonna get, you know, the benefit of the video, and I'll delete it later on because this is just silly, you know, and it's all after a Microsoft update, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. Phil, yes, I saw that. Mario actually brought it to our attention there on the Zibo group as well. I don't get these guys. I mean, they're literally sabotaging everybody with their updates. My FPS is like 10 FPS less than usual. I can't capture the screens. It's a nightmare. It's just silly, you know. But life goes on, so we'll just take it as it comes. But thank you for your help. Any help is appreciated. I'm not saying don't do it. I really appreciate anybody's help. Thanks. Guys, and if you're picking up, there's a bit of frustration in my voice today. It's just because of everything that happened a little bit earlier, so I'm not in a good place. We sorted everything out, all good, but it takes me an hour or two to just relax after you had a bit of a powwow with somebody. So I apologize for that as well. Right, next step. I just want to quickly show you guys here as well something else that I'm really battling with now. I need to take away that bar at the top. If you guys go full screen, you'll see that I'm actually sitting at 20 frames per second. My usual frames here in this exact spot, and I have flown this route at least 5 or 6 times during the week, is about 30 plus. So this is exactly what happens after updates and all these things, and now they need to fix their stories and so on. So this is a bit of a battle and also contributing to the screen tearing and shaking. So I just thought I'd show you guys that. It is really not nice to be in a aircraft when the FPS is that low when you're used to so much more. Alright, LNAV, VNAV, that's all done. Let's quickly get the rest going.
Captain Hudson on the fasten seatbelt sign. We direct that all passengers take your seat at this time and please fasten your seatbelt. Just as a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until carrying items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all passengers are seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, welcome aboard our flight today.
Ground to cockpit. Land acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Again, welcome aboard.
Hey Felix, how are you, my friend? Long time, eh? Glad you could make it this morning.
Ground to cockpit. Toes driving up.
I'm okay, thank you. I had a bit of an early morning and a lot of work to do in the Zibo community, and I've had 1 or 2 powwows already with people, so all good, all good. I'm busy settling again, getting my mind off of things and just relaxing, enjoying the whole flight experience with the sim again. So I'm also annoyed. You came in late, so you didn't hear the story, but my Streamlabs OBS is not working as it should. So, you know, one of those things. We'll fiddle with it later and try fix it for the next stream. So apologies to you as well. All the tearing and jumping and funny things that
All
happened.
doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Set parking brake.
Well, the brake is set, and now the trim is set as well. Alright guys, I don't know if you have noticed, but the other day we had a big laugh. I think it was about Wednesday. We had a big laugh. This better pushback in this very spot actually made a little song and dance when it had to push the Zibo. So if it happens again, we're gonna laugh again.
Alright, we've got everyone strapped in.
How connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start the engines.
Yeah, there we go. Look, look. So we're getting a bit of a shake. Funny thing is, he did it once and never again. So this is like the second time in the same spot. It's going a bit hectic. It eventually puts us in the right place, so I'm not going to bother with it. Let it do its thing. The poor people who are prone to getting motion sickness at the back will be very sick before we actually taxi away. Felix, I fly a lot. I do very little fiddling. I know a lot of people have actually mentioned what you're talking about. I fiddle very little. I'm just thinking now. Yeah, I fly way more than what I fiddle, so I can't say I'm in the same category. Don't know why, but I hardly fiddle. You know, you install your scenery, install your aircraft, and you go. The one thing that I do is obviously fly a lot to try and see why people are complaining and see how we can counter it and what the possible reason could be. So I don't know. It's possible that there are guys like that fiddling too much, but I fiddle very little. In terms of the developers, there's a reason why they fiddle. You know, they need to fix things, they need to improve things, and so on. My biggest gripe this morning is with Microsoft. You know, after that last update, things are just, you know, haywire on this system. I don't like it. Because, yeah, now thinking about it that way, that's going to force me to now fiddle and see if I can counter them, you know.
Tower is connected and bypass pin has been removed and signal on the left. I'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Thank you so much. Flaps 5, green light. Yeah, well, there's the pin, and sorry, I'm clicking on all the other screens to get everything in place so I can get going, and that's why you also get that black screen. Let's go. This line feels so close to the edge there, I'm almost scared driving on it. Just now we lose a tire on the edge.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Hello, hello. Yes, Jaco, welkom. Felix, that sounds good, my friend. I also took a yeah, belting down. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna have some excitement there. Yeah, I took a break over last weekend. You know, the past couple of days prior to last weekend was hectic for us with Zibo. So I started flying around with the jar design again, and then I figured out how to get the controls set up even better. And now it's really a joy to fly. I mean, that thing is brilliant. And then now I came back to Zibo again. I tell you what, when you get back into this cockpit, it's like you're home. You know, you've arrived. Right, so let's hit the tow guy there. Oh, yeah. We'll do that once we're in the air. I just want to slow down the speed on the FMC.
80 knots.
Nice little wind here. I have to use a bit of right rudder the whole time to keep straight to semi-straight.
V1. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Yeah. Felix, some yes, some yes. I've updated the installation manual. I've fiddled a little bit with the checklist. I'm waiting for David on some more news about his side of the checklist, that X-checklister thing. Let's quickly look at this. Legs. Right. So we've got some ice built up already. So let's use our icing, anti-icing stuff. I'll show you the response curves after this flight. It's actually very easy. The moment you make those controls linear, like a 45-degree angle, you actually have control over that aircraft. You can land it and you can fly it. It is freaking beautiful. Let's quickly see what this guy is doing over here. Right, so that's that turn that we were talking about. Now as you can see, I'm blocking the speed. I don't want it to go into a way out circle, so we'll see how much better it can actually handle this turn. Felix, one thing that I need to ask you to also please remind me is I want to put the response curves pictures into my hangar for the jar design. I actually published it on the jar design Facebook group, so it is out in public domain yet, but I'm not sure if it is actually in my vault. Let's have a look. See. Yeah, I didn't post in the dollars group at all yet. We talk behind the scenes, me and Juliana, if we need to talk, but I'm not really involved that side. No worries. Yeah, the stuff that is in the jar design hangar I'm actually going to delete now because that's old and irrelevant. Let's have a look, see how this turn happens now. Man, I'm getting bad frame rates this morning. Damn it. This is at 12 frames. I haven't seen such bad frames in a long time. Alright, so it's turning. I'm going to be very impressed if it actually comes back before the third waypoint. It seriously looks as if it's going to do it. And the only thing I did was to reduce my speed. Keep it realistic. I'm gonna have to click in the screen now, sorry. No, please don't, it's difficult to just talk with myself. I keep the conversation going. Guys, any of you that's sitting here, please keep the conversation going. I'm impressed. Look, it's actually turning at the right time now. There you go, it's actually hit the waypoint. So what I was saying earlier, just to recap, if you will allow me please, is if you fly this according to the normal leg speed at 250 knots, it's going to go and overshoot those two Zulu hotel waypoints by far. Look what happened just by reducing the speed a little bit. It's like magic. The weather radar gets activated in a storm. It does not activate on simple precipitation. You actually need a storm cell to activate it, because if you look on the screen there, the WXR is definitely on. I'll just zoom in there for you. The weather radar is on, but you need a storm cell. It doesn't reflect when it's only raindrops, and from the looks of it, it's actually stopped anyway. So that's the prerequisite. It needs a storm.
Altimeter, above transition altitude.
I am indeed using Active Sky, and I'm using FS Enhancer for the clouds and the sky colors. Thanks, Phil. Good morning, Ferry. Sorry, I missed your good morning there. Just noticed it now. Felix, yeah, I've got the latest one. I am busy redoing my ground handling set, so I'm reprogramming that, and I'll release that in the next day or two when that is done, because I use their basic base set as the base for my new one, and then I'm just gonna realign everything because nothing is aligned. I don't know why they don't bother to align it. I mean, they bother to make it, but they don't align it. So wherever that is, you know, I'll just fix what he didn't do, and then I'll release that as well. And this time I'm going to keep my limousine and my ambulance again. I'm just going to put them in better places or make them drive a little bit better. So I'm working on that, but it's okay. It's not a major update. It doesn't give you new features or anything. It's just, you know, fixing to make it more compatible with 11.30 on X-Plane side, and one or two small things. I fiddled yesterday and the day before after midnight at night, so I don't count that really as fiddling. That's not fiddling with a sim. That's fiddling with an add-on anyway. Don't split hairs now. Now I tell you what, since I started using X-Plane, fiddling with CFGs and all kinds of settings to make it work has largely stopped for me. I enjoy the engine as it's given to me, and I can make it work properly without too much, you know, messing around. So oh, those mountains look lovely. Yeah, when you can't sleep at night, you know, you've got to find something to do, and it was nice fiddling with the set at least. So you'll reap the benefits later. At least that's also done for the greater good of the community, my friend. Oh, look at these mountains. That's dreamy. Yeah, no, well, I'm glad you find benefit of it, and the more the merrier, right? Bonjour, Avia Games. Forgot to switch that one off properly. Yeah, Andre didn't make this. This was actually Jacques Pinard who made this livery, and I kind of like it myself too. This is probably the best work he's done for me. Not that there's anything wrong with the others, but this is exceptional. And you will not believe how many people want it. I mean, I get requests for it continuously. Where can I find it? And give it to me. Some people are actually freaking rude. You know, just give it to me. What I want to tell you is me and Jacques has actually created a plan where we are going to give the Skymatics supporters, I'm talking about the guys who are actually supporting me back, you know, putting money on the table basically, you know, supporting the channel, supporting my work. We're going to create a support livery, so you can get a Skymatics supporter livery. So we have created one for somebody that has, you know, put a lot of effort and support into my channel already, and we're thinking about, you know, making it fair and keeping the brand special. We don't just want to hand out things, so we're working on some rule sets and things for it, but I'd love to give somebody who invests in my life as well something back as a token of gratitude. That's the bottom line. That's what we're looking at. PRM 002, thank you for subscribing there. Welcome to the family, my friend. I hope you enjoy it here with us. Yeah, I think so too. You know, it's important that people get rewarded for something that they do, and obviously everything I do here is for free. I don't expect anything. But if somebody out of the goodness of their heart feel that they want to support, then I feel I need to give something back. It's my pleasure. I really love doing what I am doing here. If you guys have questions, you must ask. Feel free. Actually don't need that. We are way below 10 degrees, but there's no precipitation, so there's no point. And if this mouse will just stop moving, we can clear the message and clear the anti-ice. We don't need them until we get some precipitation again.
To go.
Guys, I spoke to 2 people. Now I feel I want to just share it with you. I'm still not sure if I'm going to keep this video or not, so just want to share it with you. I spoke to 2 people that have gone through tremendous emotional stress and problems in their lives in the last couple of weeks, and both of them, I don't think they know each other, said that the Zibo has basically given them a new lease on life. It's given them something to keep them busy. It's given them a purpose. It's given them, you know, a new angle on the hobby and all these kind of things. So I shared it with the rest of the development team, and I showed them the screenshot. So if you are on stream, don't worry, it's safe and it won't come out. But I never realized until that moment the kind of impact that we as team members or suppliers of, you know, training material, video streams, support, etc., can have such a profound influence on people's lives. It really touched me to see the thank you note that came from both of these guys, where the one guy was actually, you know, very, very, very depressed. I'm not going to go into too much details. And it's amazing when I look at what I'm doing here now. This morning I woke up and I got upset very quickly, and it's taken me a wee while to relax now as well. But this is actually very therapeutic for me too. So it's not just you guys getting benefits as well. I'm also getting as well. This is what I'm trying to say. This is really calming in my life as well, you know, while facing the battles in the real world, coming and sitting here and, you know, just flying, just leaving real world behind a little bit. So if you guys are in a similar position, drop me a note, you know, we can talk about it, and let us know if you guys are experiencing issues where we might be able to just talk with you for a short while. I love talking to people and I love helping people, and if this is the kind of support that we can also give each other, I'm game, you know, just let me know. Okay, sorry, the screen is gonna go black and funny and do all kinds of things now because I need to start getting ready for the descent. One button too many. Felix, yeah. My wife calls my simulator the other woman. So, money pit, other women. I think there's a lot of ways you can describe the simulator. But the fact is, it's calming to the soul. It helps to fill a gap and a void sometimes. You know, calm you down. You know, like Phil is saying, if you can't sleep, like me, that's when I fiddle. You know, past midnight, can't sleep. Grab the jar design ground handling and start fiddling, you know, but we discussed that already. Yeah, the cats. My cat is funny. She will never come and sit on me when I'm at my desk, but she'll climb on me when I'm lying on the bed, you know, so I'll leave her there and I'll just do my thing here. The dogs, on the other hand, man, the dogs love sitting on my lap when I fly around. And it gets tricky when you need to use your hands and things, so I know the feeling. Come on, man. Oh, awesome, awesome. You know, funny story. We actually never had cats. Just after my wife and I got married, we gave up on cats and went to the dogs. Our life followed the path, loving dogs and everything. And then a couple of months ago, the most beautiful, most awesome, fantastic cat came into our house, and she just decided this is her home. So the stray cat became our cat, and she's awesome. I love her to bits. I don't think I will be without a cat again, after this experience. It was kind of very nice. Catching the mouse pointer. Oh my goodness. Just be careful she doesn't scratch the screen. Indeed, indeed. I tell you what, the sense of accomplishment, the stress that you get, the good stress when you fly into IFR conditions, it's IMC and you need to do this IFR, and I mean, the excitement, it's real in the simulator. This thing gives us a lot of emotions that really makes it exciting. It's like a drug sometimes. I remember the very first time that I flew in, I can't remember, I think it was probably FS9, when I flew from somewhere to Malpensa, and I went over the Alps and it started raining, and I had to do this IFR, approach and landing. It was I think the big pivotal change in my life that really got me to flight simming, because prior to that I was basically flying a little bit in the real world and never really got into flight simming at that stage. Or let me rather tell it this way. I started flight simming in 1986 already with a ZX Spectrum, and I always had a flight simulator somewhere, but the bug didn't bite me. The bug bit me when I did that IFR IMC thing in FS9. That's when the flight simulator became real. When I said, this is something I really want to do. And then from there on, it literally expanded way beyond just the occasional flight sim thing, that started in 86 already. Yeah, indeed, Felix. Why argue? Sometimes I feel I have to argue. Sometimes people just say stupid things and you can't let it go, but that's just me. PRM 002, nope. As far as I know, and I'm speaking from old knowledge now, there was a time that I tried it and it didn't work. You can't have two controllers active at the same time. And then that guy from On the Glide Slope, he wrote a Lua script that actually seemed to have worked pretty well. I'm not sure if X-Plane actually supports using two controllers at this point in time. I haven't bothered to try them at the same time.
Navigational charts.
Oh, I'm not going to bother with the rest. Too early in the morning to go into all that detail. I haven't even had a second cup of coffee. I had one early on, but never made provision when the stream started. Like I said, everything ran late because of the responsibility. So one of those things. One of the things that really get me and really annoys me and really works me up is when people use emotion to argue a fact, and they don't have facts and they cannot substantiate anything that they say apart from using their emotion. That gets me. Well, very well, you added 2 sugars and milk, please. That'll be cool. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the descent here. I already mentioned that there's a vector situation coming up a little bit later on. The angle that the approach is happening at from the start to the final approach is just too much. The Zibo will never be able to fly it. In fact, I don't think any aircraft can fly this. This is something where human intervention is literally needed in real world as well. You're not going to let a computer fly an angle like what is coming up there. Another thing that we have in this route is there's a bit of a delay in the descent, and then there's also the situation where, because it's in a vector situation, you also have to control the descent, and there's 2 ways of doing it. You can use your vertical speed on the MCP, or you can actually do a trick that I'll show you just now, and you can use VNAV to actually come down and bring the aircraft to an acceptable level. And this is one of the extra reasons why I wanted to fly this route today. So we have the amazing turn straight, well, shortly after takeoff, the missing or potential missing of waypoints, not sticking to the magenta line that was addressed. We've got the fancy approach here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, oh, Ferry, thank you, that looks good. I'm actually going to go and make myself some coffee. The aircraft, I'll wait for it to start the descent, and once it started the descent, there's about half an hour to go before we land, and then I'm just going to go grab myself a cup of coffee, if you guys don't mind, and then we'll handle the rest of the situation when I come back. Right, so we are all set. As far as I know, the radios are set as well. I might as well just double check that, because I flew this route 5-6 times this week. Every time there's a complaint, I come fly it, see what I can see. Every time there's a query, I come fly it. And we played around with Join FS because we want to start flying group flights again. So if any of you guys are interested in doing group flights with us, we've got VATSIM and we've got Join FS. Join FS is a private network that we're busy testing. So the moment, okay, I'll talk to you about that now as well. The moment we have it stable and usable to an acceptable level, we'll give you guys the knowledge to come and join us, and then we can do some private group flights, you know, that's not involving any ATC or major networks and so on. So that's also one of the reasons we flew this flight many times, to see what happens, how the network reacts, how the servers react, and things like that. And coming to this error, this is something new on 3.34 that I haven't seen yet, and I haven't actually told this to the rest of the team. But basically what happens is on my CH throttle quadrant there is a difference in the alignment between the two throttles. So if I move both of them forward, I've got to compensate one to match the other. It doesn't work on exactly the same place at the same time, so it's out of alignment. And what I have found is in this model of the Zibo from 3.34 onwards, if I don't pull back and go to the level 0 in idle, basically, if I don't idle the throttles and it gets to the point where it needs to change gears, so to speak, you know, to do the top of descent bit and start the descending, it actually kicks the auto throttle off, and then I just have to bring the two throttles to idle so that they are level again in sync, and then I can switch it back on. Funny, interesting. Full, not much. The way it works is it works on a peer-to-peer basis. Alright, so there isn't like a central server. There's one guy, which is basically me, that hosts a session, and then each one loads the little client that's about 1.3 megabytes in size. It's very small. It hosts it locally, and then basically it's text that gets sent to and fro. There isn't much overheads. There's also an option if for the guys running on 3G mobile kind of metered networks, where you can actually enable low bandwidth usage on it. So it uses your local aircraft library. Peter, the guy who writes it, said in the week he made mention on their forum that he's going to implement the usage of CSLs, you know, kind of like VATSIM and IVEO. But it's very small. It's actually very small, and because you're reading from locally, from your own aircraft library, you get a much crisper, better quality visuals, and so on. And it really seems like a bargain for us. We were 5 guys the other night that flew together, and I mean, you don't even know that thing is there really. It's very small. Felix, yes. Look at the negativity about jar design. Not one person that has said anything negative about jar design has been able to substantiate what they say, because inevitably it comes out that they did not set up the X-plane correctly, they did not set up the aircraft correctly, and they're on an old version, or on an old version. Alright? And if you look at the flight factor model that's inevitably punted as the better one, I was shocked when I found out things about it during the past few weeks. It's not what we think it is. It's not what they tell us it is. There's I'm not going to elaborate on stream. It's not necessary. I'm not going to badmouth them, but it's in my terms, it's not what you think it is. So I hardly fly it. I hardly touch it. For me, it's totally unrealistic, so I don't care. I spent my time with a jar design. There's a challenge, and factually speaking, nobody's been able to convince me anywhere else. But emotions, man, the emotions are on high, and everybody wants to kill you if you don't agree, and it's just silly. Yeah, Join FS has been around for a while. Even British Airways Virtual has tested it. There's a lot of guys that actually use it. I used to use it when I was the chief flight instructor at VATSIM in South Africa, to introduce people to multiplayer, to introduce them to training, to give training. We did massive training on it. It's an amazing little utility. It almost died I'm not sure if it was taken over by someone else or if it's still the original developer, but I'm glad that it's back in development, and I'm glad that it's going somewhere, because it means a lot to us. It means you know, if you look at the average flight simmer, I think everybody has the desire to fly multiplayer. You want to see your buddies, you want to be in the group, but the problem with VATSIM is the learning curve. I mean, you can't just get into VATSIM and start fiddling, because the supervisor is going to kick you and it's going to create a problem for you. You know, then you get a bad record on VATSIM, and you know, hares fly. So what we do is we use JoinFS to introduce people to the multiplayer environment, to get them going. I mean, that is another bug, that if that thing bites you, it really bites you hard, you know, and then you just want it and you just want to do it, and it's actually very amazingly simple to set up as well. If you've got a little bit of technical knowledge, it's not difficult. And I'm in fact going to go to our Air Force Training Center here in Pretoria after the stream. I'm going to install it there for the Flight Sim Club they have there. So that's my afternoon, installing it for the Air Force and the flight club that they've got it there. I don't want to say it's for the Air Force per se, but the flight club, you know, housed at the Air Force Training Center. So it means a lot. We can do a lot with it, and it takes away the sting, and it takes away the fear that you get with having to talk to air traffic controllers and having to learn air law and, you know, flying and talking at the same time. You know, it's a great bridge that bridges a gap. Phil, I know I talk a lot, so I'm glad it's done. Whatever it is, you obviously answered something that I said. I missed what it was exactly, but I'm glad. I'm happy if it's done. Liam, yeah, happy with the new jar design. Me too, buddy. I mean, after spending some time and putting my effort in as the user, it's a pleasure to fly. To hand fly that thing is amazing. To land it now is actually possible. It really is. In terms of immersion, there's not a single Airbus that can beat the immersion of that thing. No ways. The flight factor can beat it with the system depth on the MCDU, but give jar design 2 or 3 more updates, it's going to have more functions on that MCDU than the other guys have. I'm pretty sure. That's my opinion. And I will much rather fly jar design. Oh, 100%. Cool. Yeah, Twitch for me is a more relaxed platform. My YouTube is very important for me, and this is also one of the reasons I might not save this flight, because I felt uncomfortable in the beginning. I want this to be my showcase. If you come and join me on Twitch, I mean, it's like that's when you wear your flip-flops and your shorts and your t-shirt. We're not wearing a suit when we fly there, you know. That's the relaxed version of us just being us. And I mean, I have plenty of guys on Discord with me. You guys are welcome to come and, you know, join me on Discord and talk nonsense and so on. So it's a much nicer, more relaxed atmosphere, and that's where I spend my time during the week. It's just on Twitch. I don't want to put just anything on YouTube. YouTube for me must be special. It's my showcase. So that's why I only do it also once or twice a week, to put something on YouTube. I don't want to, you know, make it less special by just spamming the place. Liam, I know they're busy working on it. I know nothing more. Andre is probably the better guy to speak to, and he doesn't say much. So yeah, I don't know much about that. I know they're working on it. Ferry, then we need to look at your problem, because it definitely works. There's something in the programming or in the loading or something that might be wrong. I don't have that issue. The other issue is make sure that you go and grab the latest and greatest beta version. I mean, that thing is 10 times the aircraft jar design had 6 months ago. It is so much better. So just make sure you get the latest one, and then we can help you at some point in time, you know, setting it up and getting it going, because mine really works well. Yeah. Guys, one of the things that happened to me a couple of months ago, I mean, I've been working almost full-time on this whole Zibo story for almost 2 years now. And it literally started gaining momentum just under a year ago, and it just keeps on getting more momentum and more momentum, right? So I neglected the jar design completely. In fact, any other aircraft. I mean, my whole life revolves around Zibo now. And then a couple of months, probably 2-3 months ago, I was on XP Aviator's stream with him, Andre's stream, and Andre Belov from Jar Design came on stream, and I happened to be flying the Jar Design A320 with Andre, you know, I was following him kind of fashion, and that was like the second time in 2 years I touched the Jar Design. And because Andre Belov came on stream and we started talking, and I mean, he's, as far as I know, the lead developer there at Jar Design. He gave me a chance to be on the beta team for the new version of the Jar Design, and I took it and I loved it, and the bug has really bitten me a lot. So if I'm not Ziboing, I'm Jar Designing, and I love it. It's amazing how things just work out. You know, you're on going one side, and the next moment you've got a tangent on the other side. Felix, that's very true. You need to make sure that you're in the right detent there. What you need to look out for, Ferry, is look on your throttle quadrant in the Jar Design. They've actually put click spots. So even if you just put your throttle close enough, you can click on the click spot. And now I'm talking so much, I never showed you guys this trick that I do. Let me quickly show you here. I'm going to go down to my legs page. Right, so we are in the vector situation here, and we're not vectoring because we're talking. So what I do is I select my next waypoint after the vector and I execute that. Alright, so you'll see now, you see now I waited obviously too long. We're way too high now. But the moment you do that, you get into your VNAV profile again, and the aircraft starts descending. Otherwise, it's just going to hang around until you realize you made a mistake. So if you guys ever find yourself in a situation where you've got a vector, make sure if you don't use the vertical speed option, just go and change your leg. It will put you back into the VNAV situation, and then you must just do the vectoring from there. So let me also set that up while we're talking. Go to heading select. Who are you talking to now, Liam? Sorry, what are you talking about? Whose SSL certificate? Ah, I never noticed that. I'll send him a message. I'll tell Andre for you. Okay. I never noticed that. Interesting. Good spot. Liam, I'll get back to you just now on that one. Phil, yeah, close to overspeed, that's not a problem. We don't usually use the speed brake above 10,000 feet. The VNAV is good enough to handle the situation for us. So what I'm going to do is just turn out a little bit and then make like a slight turn. If I can just stay on the actual knob to turn. Okay, so I'm just going to basically make like a teardrop turn here in front so we can get to the correct level, because we need to be at 4,000. So I'm just going to waste some time here at the back, turn around, come back. Man, I need to read through all these messages now. Yeah, we've covered that. Alright, yeah. Close to overspeed, we've covered that. I've never had an issue with VNAV, ever. And when guys complain about VNAV, I always wondered to myself why. Because I've never had it. The aircraft, as long as this little magenta ball is on that line, I know the aircraft's got it. I don't have to worry. So even if it looks like it's going to overspeed, it won't, because it's programmed not to. So if we get a gust of wind, that's a different story, or some external influence, it happens, then we quickly make a plan. But other than that, like I said, usually above 10,000 feet, we don't use the speed brake. And I mean, the guys laughed at me the other day for actually using it, so I tend to skip it until I really need to. The jar design has more quirks, which makes it nicer and more of an accomplishment to fly. Well, it's not just quirks, it's a question of almost every button presses and every switches and every knob turns. I mean, the immersion is like no other. There is no comparison. Andrei Belov and me have spoken about this behind the scenes many times. All they need is just the depth in their MCDU. The moment they get the depth right in their MCDU, they're going to be the leader of the pack. There is absolutely no comparison for the rest. I mean, if you can look at any of my videos that I've done on the jar design, it is immersion wise just way ahead of anybody else. System wise, in the MCDU, that's the last frontier. Yeah, a cat to get rid of the mouse in my cockpit. Just don't let it get under the rudder pedals. Liam, I don't think they've got a money problem. I think they can very well, purchase $100 certificate or whatever the cost would be. I don't even think it's that expensive. I haven't bought one in a while, so I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I must just tell him to look into it, see what his response is. There might be a valid reason for them not doing it. I wouldn't know, so we'll have to ask him. Right then, PRM 2002. Yes, I did write a little PDF manual on Join FS, but I think one of these Saturdays we must actually do like a quick tutorial, get everybody on board, and then go do a quick flight. We don't have to do it in the Zibo, we can do it in the Cessna 172s just to make it easy, and then we can use that video as the tutorial as well. I think that's a brilliant idea. Phil, it's also a work in progress, so that's the first thing that the jar design has in common with the Zibo. It's pretty much a work in progress. I would say, and I'm now talking as a non-Airbus driver, I'm a Boeing guy, It's taken me a little while to get used to the Boeing again after the absence of approximately 2 years. It does fly very well. It really flies very well. I cannot complain. I can use the MCDU, create my flight plan, take off, fly, land. It really works well. It does everything that you would expect from the aircraft to do. You know, the 3 basic pages where you do your setup of the MCDU is fully functional. I mean, it really is a nice aircraft. Yeah, well, this is what I mean. There's a huge learning curve because it's now Boeing versus Airbus, and my goodness. Hey, Airbus, I tell you, they've got their way of doing things. I can't say I don't like it, because I do like it, but it's annoying in the beginning to get your mindset changed to do things differently. And the funny thing is, when you're used to flying in the Airbus, where you are required to actually arm your speed brake before takeoff, and you get into the Zibo and you do the same thing, you get this takeoff warning, the takeoff config warning. You can't take off, and then you go, what did I do wrong? And it takes you 2 minutes to figure out, oops, I forgot I'm not supposed to arm the speed brake, you know, silly little things like that, and so on. But once you get it, it's much easier to configure. The pre-flight is much easier. It takes half the time to get into the air, and you know, it's an Airbus. I do think so, Felix. I think the hefty price is one of the contributing factors that makes people think it's better, and it's not. It's very far from complete. It's also pretty much a work in progress, and for my budget, I'll rather spend $49 on something that's a work in progress, that's got much more bells and whistles, than to spend the $90, you know, just to try something out. Now, the funny thing is, even after saying that, this is now like me saying about the fiddling. I own the Flight Factor A320. I've streamed it. It's on my channel here. It's known that I've got it. I have the dollars as well, and I tell you what, between the dollars, the jar design, and the Flight Factor, I fly jar design first, dollar second, and I hardly touch the Flight Factor. For me personally, it's not something that I'm excited about.
1,000 to go.
Another thing that I have found with Flight Factor specifically, Liam, to elaborate on your, or Felix, to elaborate on your point there, is you're dealing with peer pressure as well. It's not just a question of facts or emotion. There's a lot of peer pressure, because if you look at the last post that is on the Explain Next Generation group where I responded to yesterday, guys get intimidated when they reveal their opinion, and the peer pressure to give in and say, oh yes, Flight Factor is the best, is tremendous. That peer pressure is a big problem, a very big problem. A lot of guys cannot handle peer pressure. I'm not like that. I just put my middle finger up and show them my backside. I don't let something like that influence me. But a lot of people get intimidated out of something or into something where they shouldn't be. And one of you guys mentioned it in the chat here. It's better to test something for yourself. Make it a habit in life, not just in flight swimming, in life. Test for yourself, because there's no point in you believing a lie and then going through life less richer in experience. That's my opinion. Well, yes, Jar Design has got the paper checklist. They have actually got this AI, artificial intelligent co-pilot that you can verbally speak to, that you can give commands through the menu. They've done a lot to make it almost infallible. If you... Why did it not take my approach? I'm too high, it's probably not going to take it. That's fine, we'll hand fly it then. Start reducing our speed. So there's many ways that your design, they've got their built-in co-pilot thing that they've always had. They've got the AI and they've got the paper checklist. So if you just follow the rules, you can't really make a mistake. It will be configured by the time you fly. Yeah, the Tollus is great. Also work in progress. I think the fact that Juliana is active in Facebook, you know, and Matt, and the guys actually are able to speak to them, like with Jar Design. You can speak to the Jar Design developer. Who of us have ever spoken to Flight Factor? Nobody does that. So it helps. I think there's great potential in that little bird. I like that little one.
2500.
Is there no BSS sound pack for Tollus? I'm pretty sure there must be one, and if there isn't, then we must ask that they make one. I think that will be cool. No, you can do that. I won't do that on stream. Linda. Oh, poor Linda. Yeah, take off your sunglasses. She can actually take off the sunglasses, but I doubt she's going to tell you her age, my friend. That's not going to happen. I don't own Magnite, so I can't give you an opinion. I've seen Andre fly it, and he says he likes it within the consideration that it is also a work in progress. Again, from what I understand from what he says, there's a lot of work to be done on it, so good potential. Yeah, probably. And look, that Linda woman is in the A330. If you go fly the co-pilot in the A320, it's a guy, and his name is Sandy. And yeah, he's the new guy there. So, and they work well. I don't have an issue with them.
1,000 feet stabilized.
They are working. That is for sure. Right, so we've got green light, auto brake. Let us see where we are. There we go. Speed brakes armed, lights set. Let's tell these people to get ready quickly. Where's this BA? Okay, let's take it in hand.
500.
So the ILS is a little bit offset here. And if we don't do something about it, we're going to end up on the side there.
Minimums. 300. Minimums. 200.
Flight slow.
100.
Flight slow.
Who cares?
Flight slow.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Well, isn't that part of the problem, Liam? Some of the most well-known guys in the streaming world can't even fly the Zibo, so let alone try and give them a Jar Design. Goodness. I've watched a couple of guys really whack their good names with them, you know, these big hard shot streamers, and they can't even fly the Zibo properly. Thank you guys. Welcome to Nice Côte d'Azur, or however you pronounce that. Oh, my reversers never switched off. I was wondering why I'm not able to taxi. Happens when you're human. Thank you everyone, thank you very much. Oh, you guys, I must tell you about Genoa. We landed in Genoa the other night, me and David. We were flying in there, and runway 10 is a visual approach. I opted for runway 10, David took the ILS. Yeah, firm but fair. I mean, you've got to land properly, ne? So anyway, I did the visual approach. I wish you guys could see that approach. I had it on Twitch. It's probably still on my Twitch channel, a video or two ago. You can go look at that landing in Genoa. Man, that was the most fun I had in a long time. It reminded me of Madeira. I really would like to go and fly in Madeira again, you know, because you also do that same. Yep, you do that same visual downwind flyby and turn around. Ah, it's awesome. It was stunning. And if I can give you guys a good tip, if you can't sleep at night and you feel like fiddling, just get in the aircraft, any aircraft, just fly circuits. You guys cannot imagine how much practice you get and how good you become just by doing circuits. So just flying round and around in a circle. It does wonders for hand flying. Ah, Paro. Oh my goodness.
Approaching 2 right.
Yeah, that is a challenge. That's probably the most challenging landing I've ever attempted in anything. And also, I did that way back in the day with the BMDG 738. But that was like crazy. Yeah, absolutely. That's the way you learn. I mean, that's why the guys do it in the real world as well. You fly circuit upon circuit upon circuit. It teaches you to fly this thing by hand. Because in this instance, like now, if you are dependent on ILS, how are you going to land on this runway? Because it's offset. You can't. It's impossible. You'll never be able to do it. Yeah, Gibraltar. Nice one. So I'm just going to park over here and then we'll do 1 or 2 replays quickly. And guys, thank you for joining me. I really needed you as much as you needed me today. So thank you for being here and chatting with me. And I'm saying that because if the flight bombs out now, then at least I thanked you. Let's get the lights going. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. There's so much we can actually do online, but the VOR thing, while I was still training the guys for VATSIM, that was part of the P1 and P2 where you had to familiarize the cockpit and the instruments with the guys, and you had to do the VOR and NDB stuff. And it was nice. We used to fly from Wonderboom Airport here in Pretoria, and then we would go to Pilanesberg. To where Sun City is, if you know where that is. It's one of the entertainment areas. So yeah, there's plenty you can do about that too. Let's have a look, see what this looks like.
300.
Sorry for the black screen, guys. I hate it. I'll try fix it before next stream.
500.
Looks like I'm drunk over there. Well guys, that is about it from me now. Like I said, I'm on my way to the Air Force Training Center to go and help them out with their Join FS and the club that they have there for the flight simulator guys. So we will see you guys next time. I will not stream tonight. I think it's unfair towards the family. So I'll probably stream again tomorrow to maybe just make up for this stream that didn't really make me feel that good today. And then the rest of the week I'll be on Twitch, and there I feel a little bit more free to just be free, you know, so please join me there. Thank you, Mr. Sahin and Liam. Thank you for flying, and I will definitely do that. And Phil, thank you. Mark, excellent. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. We will talk to you guys soon. Bye bye for now. Bye, Ferry. Well, I'm trying to roll the credits, guys, but it's not running, so there's a discommunication with Streamlabs and YouTube, it seems. So, see you later. Bye-bye.